Oh man, Cristiano Ronaldo with the double dip, Champions League, and now Portugal wins Euro 2016. Oh, oh man, I'm not a Cristiano Ronaldo fan. I don't know about you, Brian. Brian Wright is here. I'm Adrian Fedku. Ronaldo. Oh man, he wins both of them, and then you get like Lionel Messi, and he couldn't win the Copas.
No, I'm with you there. I'm not the biggest Cristiano fan. The guy is obviously an unbelievable talent, but we give him a little bit of the A-Rod treatment, I think. But he kind of earns it because he's kind of a dick. Or at least he gives off that impression. But yeah, I was pulling for France big time. I thought that they would have a little more juice in the final in the Stade de France in the big venue with the home crowd advantage, and it just didn't happen.
Yeah. Let's talk about that because I don't think the game was as badly played as everyone's kind of portraying it. France had chances, but you had a guy in net, in Rui Patricio, who was unbelievable. So it resembled a little bit of what we saw from Tim Howard in the World Cup against Belgium.
It did. I mean, we remember that World Cup game. Tim Howard came up with 16 saves in that game. I may have to eat my words on Rui Patricio a little bit there because a couple of shows ago when we were kind of ranking the teams, I think I mentioned that I didn't think Rui Patricio was that good. I was wrong. That guy saved their bacon several times. France had periods where they were really on it, and you thought they were going to score. He made two or three, from what I can recall, at least two or three point blank ridiculous stops. So, as much as I didn't really want Portugal to win, you have to give them credit because they pulled it out in extra time in a hostile environment. Good for Cristiano, even though we don't really like him that much.
Oh, fuck Cristiano. You know what I hate about him? Whenever there's a camera on him, he makes sure to take his shirt off so he can show off that chiseled six-pack. He does it all the time. He's so theatrical.
He does do it all the time, but you can't say you don't wish you had that.
I don't need a chiseled six-pack. All right, I don't need it. Okay, the only six-pack I care about is the one that I got in my fridge right now.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I hate how this tournament played out because they look like shit all tournament. They didn't even look any good. I had them like 7th in the rankings that we did. They look like shit. They finished 3rd in their group. They didn't play anybody. And then they finally play France, and they win the fucking game.
Yeah, I mean, football is a cruel, cruel game, as we know. And this is a reason why we weren't thrilled. I think you are in the same boat as I. We weren't thrilled that the Euros were expanding from 16 to 24 teams. So you had a team like Portugal that really didn't play well in the group stage, managed to get through. And I think in total, they only won 2 games, and they managed to win the whole thing. I think you have to be in a bit better form than that in a major tournament to earn the win, but apparently you don't.
Like, it was pathetic. Like, they literally look like shit all tournament long.
They weren't very good. And the guys that score, you had Ronaldo get his moment, but, Renato Sanchez scores in the semifinal there. Adair scores the winning goal on Sunday. He's got 4 international goals for his career. These aren't guys that are unless you are a fanatical European fan, you don't know who Adair is. I don't know if I'm a fanatic, but his Adair's tenure at Swansea was horrible. So that guy is not a great goal scorer, but he found his opportunity and they made it stick.
Yeah. I will say Sanchez, I think, did give them a boost. I thought he was pretty good. Very young player, obviously a lot of talent there. But they finished in 3rd place. Any other tournament, any other Euros, you're out. You're done. You're toast.
If you finish
Steve McManaman, after the game, goes on this rant. He was ranting the whole show. And I agreed with every single word that came out of his mouth.
I agree. I love Steve McManaman. When he has his meltdowns, that's unbelievable TV.
Oh yeah.
Like he went ballistic after England lost to Iceland, and it was glorious.
Yeah. Oh man. So let's talk about this tournament now, right? Because we got off to a promising start. The first wave of group games were, they were pretty good. They weren't bad. And then this tournament went to shit. It went to shit. There were how many good games were in this tournament? Like 3 or 4, 5 maybe? Three?
Yeah.
This is the worst tournament I've ever seen. This was pathetic.
If we've been following, I always try to keep up with Twitter, and if you follow Taylor Twellman on Twitter, he was a big the opposite of he was against expanding to 24 teams.
Yeah.
And I think the result of this tournament just drives his point home that expanding to 24 wasn't a good idea. The Euros have always been that like exclusive black tie invitation only party that was cool that you can only get by special invitation. Now everybody on the block's coming, and it kind of dilutes it, right? Because you got, for continuing with the analogy, you can't have Grey Goose at the party with more people. You have to buy cheaper beer because you're having more people over, so you have to save your money. This is what happens when you expand from 16 to 24 teams in the Euros.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a lot of games where teams were playing not to lose, and that led to some really, really bad soccer. There wasn't a lot of goal scoring, but that's not what I care. I don't care about the low goal scoring. What I care about is that teams didn't even try to win. They were just playing not to lose.
No, you bring up a great point there, especially when we're talking about the early parts of the tournament, the group stage, even the knockout round. Teams like Germany, who coasted through the group stage, and then they managed to get through the knot. But then when they come up against a good team like an Italy, like a France, they struggled. Like they struggled against France in that semifinal, big time.
It was a weird tournament because usually you have like a couple teams that stand out. No team in this tournament stood out. Yeah. None.
If you're gonna pick a tournament MVP, who would it be?
Probably Griezmann.
Yeah, I'd go with Griezmann. Yeah. But it's not often, I think, that you see a tournament MVP come from a team that lost in the final.
Portugal didn't deserve to win.
No, they didn't. They really didn't. I mean, you could go – I think Griezmann was probably your best player. Dimitri Payet has been very good. Bale has been very good.
Actually, you could make a case for – actually, Bale probably should have – maybe. Definitely not anybody on Portugal.
No, definitely not. You might get some crazy fan that says like Joe Allen or Sam Vokes was the MVP of the tournament for Wales, but no,
Yeah. So, all right. So what's the solution here? Are they allowed to go back to 16 teams? Is it possible?
I think it's possible. I don't know. I don't know how you're going to get that through UEFA.
The problem is you make probably a lot more money with more teams.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think if
more games, more attendance, more money, more revenue.
This tournament showed that you got more teams, so you got to make more money. I think the next step up is they're going to end up taking it up to 32.
Yeah, that's really going to dilute it.
Yeah, you're going to get more teams that really have no business being in there. I mean, you could make an argument that Hungary really didn't deserve to be there. Oh, they had one interesting game. You can make an argument.
Actually, that was one of the good games of the tournament.
It definitely was. You could make an argument that you don't want to see Hungary. You don't want to see Austria, even though Austria is up and coming. You really don't want to see Iceland, even though they were the darlings of the tournament. If you expand it to 32, then you're looking at, having like a Liechtenstein in there.
Hey, at least Ukraine has a chance.
I wasn't going to say anything about Ukraine, but if you get 32 teams in there, at least they would have a shot. I mean, yeah. But you don't want to make it. You don't want to. The Euros are not meant to be the World Cup. The Euros are supposed to be an almost exclusively European tournament for only the best teams on the continent. not Hungary, not Austria, not Iceland.
Yeah, yeah. I think Austria is maybe a little bit better than you think, but
They are.
they obviously didn't show up in this tournament. They finished last in the group.
Austria is up and coming. Austria's golden generation is coming, just like Belgium's golden generation is present.
Mm-hmm.
But it'll take Austria a few cycles before they hit their stride, because it wasn't a good performance for them this tournament.
So I'll say this though: I would rather have 32 than 24 because
I agree.
Because we will see better play. Like
you'll see better games, and it'll last longer. You'll have more games. The tournament was about a month long. I think if you expand it to 32, you might see them extend the time period that it goes for a little longer, or you'll just have more games to watch in a given day, which is good for us soccer fanatics.
Yeah, because like the second wave of group stage games, third wave of group stage games, nobody tried to win.
No,
nobody.
Once the team realized that they were going to get through, then you don't have any reason to, that's why they do those third group stage games, having them kick off at the same time. So you can't have a team that either knows it's eliminated or knows that they're through and just waltzes there, doesn't do anything. That almost happened in the World Cup with that last Germany-US game. Because if Germany and US had just played to a draw, both sides would have gotten in, which is what happened anyway. But at least it was still a competitive game. You didn't have some sort of backroom wink, wink handshake deal between Yogi Low and Klinsmann saying, all right, we're going to put out there, but, just go through the motions. We'll both get our draw and we'll both go through. You don't have that.
Like, I hated the idea to begin with, the 24 teams. And then you came into the tournament. Like I said, the first wave was pretty good. And I was like, all right, maybe I'm wrong. And then obviously, like I said, they quickly went to shit. So let's think about this. How many good games were there? You had what? Spain, Italy,
Belgium and Wales.
Belgium and Wales was a game of the tournament.
Yeah.
That was a game of the tournament.
Absolutely.
France, Germany was good.
I might actually go the very first game of the tournament, France and Romania.
That was pretty good. Yeah.
With Dimitri Payet scoring the late winner there from like 27 yards away. Mm-hmm. That was a good one. That was the one where after the first game, because it was on a Friday and it was the only game of the day. After that first game, you're like, maybe this 2014 thing can work pretty well. Yeah. And then it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm sure I'm missing one. Because even some of the games that we were looking forward to were Germany and Italy.
It wasn't a very good game, but if you're an Italy fan, you would have taken, despite the fact that they lost in penalties, you would have taken that because they went toe-to-toe with Germany, probably bested them for the first hour or so of the game.
Germany was afraid in that game.
They were. I'm sure the German Football Federation is not going to be pleased with how they played, but they're not going to do anything about it. They're still the World Cup champs.
They should have won this tournament. They had more talent than everybody else, I thought.
A lot of those guys were just off. Like you could see it. Like Thomas Muller is I'm not really sure how to describe him other than the fact that he is deadly usually when he's in front of goal, and all of them, they were just not sharp.
Yeah, Muller, he hasn't scored in the Euros. It's insane.
No, he has not.
He was so good in the World Cup. And
he was an absolute monster in the World Cup. But the Euros offer that like exclusivity, and it gives these teams a chance that they can win, like a Portugal or like a Greece in 2004. Nobody thought Greece was going to win the Euros, and yet it happened.
Yeah. Well, the reason why Portugal won, they finished in third place. They didn't have anybody to play in their side of the draw. You beat Wales, you beat France, and that was it. And that's why they won.
And I was convinced France was going to just roll them over because they, that semifinal between France and Germany was a pretty good game. But France, I always felt that France just had the edge because they're a very good team and they had that home field advantage and they used it. And I figured that they would come into the final and, if you shut down Ronaldo, you're going to win. And they didn't have to shut down Ronaldo because he got hurt. And
France came in rolling.
yeah, they did.
Iceland 7-2.
They 5-2. They still
On a high, and then you lost. They lost.
And I don't know what you tell, what if you're Didier Deschamps, what do you tell your guys in the locker room after that game? Like, nice try. We'll get them next cycle. I don't know what you say. Because it's not like they played poorly.
They could have played better, but I don't think they played as badly.
The one decision I was not thrilled with was if you watched it, once Portugal scores that goal to take the lead, I think they had about 10 to 12 minutes left in the second half of extra time.
Yeah.
So there's time there that they could have gotten an equalizer. And they went with Anthony Martial as a fresh leg striker. He's a young kid. I'm not sure he's ready for the Euro final. He's played for United. He's a big boy, but there might not have been a better option on their bench, but I don't know if I would have used him.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the 24 teams thing because the counter argument can be, well, you allow Cinderellas like Wales and Iceland and Hungary and like Northern Ireland to be in the tournament.
Romania.
So you can get a lot of stories out of it. Now, here's the thing, though. I think Iceland was good enough that it could have made the top 16 because they did very well in qualifying. Wales, another team that's pretty good. But, like Northern Ireland and Hungary, I'm sorry. I don't want to see these teams play.
Now, here's the thing, though. It's a good thing that you bring this up because I was having this discussion with one of our former TSN colleagues that when Wales – made it to the semis, he was thrilled. He wanted to see Wales because he roots for the underdog, which is fine under most circumstances. But I got to tell you, when you get to the business end of these big tournaments, Euros, Copa, World Cup, I don't want to see Wales. I don't want to see Portugal. You might be able to say that they're a big team now because they have Ronaldo, but we've talked about their squad depth. I don't want to see Wales. I don't want to see Iceland. I don't want to see Hungary. I don't want to see Romania in these semifinals and finals. I want the big boys.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this. I agree with Wales and because they have Gareth Bale. If you have a star,
fair enough.
That's fine. But like I wanted to see England and France. I didn't want to see fucking Iceland and France.
Right.
Because I knew it was going to happen. You knew it was going to happen.
Well, you knew that after Iceland beats England, that was them shooting their load. They're done after that. They had no chance against France.
Yeah.
Once France gets those first two goals, they're done. They're not coming back. And I don't want to, even if they had made the final and you had Iceland and Portugal in the final, it might have been interesting, especially because 2020 hindsight, Ronaldo gets hurt. That might have given Iceland a bit more of a chance. But I don't want to see that game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. And the other thing I really hated about this tournament was that other side of the draw because we had to watch Poland and Switzerland play and Poland and Portugal in a terrible game. Actually, that wasn't really that terrible.
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad, but
Poland has some good names. Poland's Lewandowski.
Yeah, they have Lewandowski. But what I'm saying is that side of the bracket had no sexy matchups.
Oh no.
Wales and Belgium wound up being the game of the tournament, but that side was just a joke.
Yeah, and that allowed that. I don't know how you do the bracketing, but if you had taken some of those teams from the good half of the bracket and moved them over, you could have gotten chances are you probably aren't going to see Portugal.
Oh yeah, if Portugal was on that side of the bracket on the right side, they wouldn't have won.
You're going to be done. You might see, I don't know, you might see France and Germany as a final instead of a semifinal.
Man.
Right? Wouldn't you rather have seen France and Germany play in the final instead of
Absolutely. So I was really, really hoping and praying that yesterday's game would kind of make up for this lackluster tournament because it was really bad. I didn't think Euro 2012 was that great, but this one, ew. Like 2008's tournament was pretty good, and you had like a pair of semifinals which weren't that great. I think Turkey made it, and who was it? There was another team that I don't remember the other one.
That Turkey was definitely there.
Yeah, it wasn't Denmark. I'm thinking Denmark say 192. Who was the other team? It wasn't Croatia. I think Turkey beat Croatia in the quarterfinals.
Now I'm curious.
Yeah. Well, obviously, Spain wound up winning that tournament.
Wait. I think I got it. Oh no. Let me see.
Wrong one.
I'm trying to find the brackets here, but it's giving me blank brackets, so that doesn't help.
All right. Well, I'll look it up, and because I'll find it in a second.
Germany and Turkey, and
we got
Spain and Russia.
Yeah, it was Russia. That's right. Andrei Arshavin. Remember, he was a one-hit wonder.
Spain beats Germany in the final.
Yep. Well, at least the final was Spain and Germany. So, yeah, that tournament I remember was pretty good from what I remember. 2008 was a good one.
Yeah.
But this one, yeah. Again, I mean, we're basically just repeating ourselves at this point. Let's see. Anything else you want to talk about before we head out? Because I got nothing.
Hoping that the next time that the Euros roll around, that we get a little higher quality.
Where are they next? I want to say England.
I think it's in England. I'm curious. So that would be the 2020 Euros.
I'm pretty sure it's England.
Yeah.
Oh, I got a question for you.
Okay.
Why are the finals always shit? Like World Cups, Germany. Who was it? Germany. Who they just fucking beat?
Argentina.
Germany beat Argentina. That was like a 1-0 game that wasn't very good.
And that goal was scored in the 100.
In Spain, 2010 was awful. That was an awful game. 2012 Euro final. That was the one where Spain just routed Italy. So since 2010, there hasn't been one good final, and I'm sick of it.
It's a good question. I think the only real reason I could think of as to why these final games are not what the fans hope they are is because the stakes are so high that you don't want to make a mistake.
Afraid to lose. Yeah.
You kind of play with that afraid to lose mentality instead of let's go out and attack and try to win, right? Especially if you're a defender. You make one mistake and the ball goes the wrong way and you score an OG, and then that game ends 1-0 on an OG, you feel like shit for the next 4 years. Yeah.
Well, you also feel like shit when Adair scores his fucking goal.
That too.
109th minute. Oh, man.
I would very much doubt that these managers go out and tell their teams go balls out and try to score in these final games. I think most of them probably say, we're going to sit back a little bit. We're going to wait for the counterattack. We're going to let them have the ball. If we get an opportunity, we'll take it. But the problem is you can't play like that forever, because if you let it get to a penalty shootout, I mean, your chances of winning, I guess, are just as good as the other team if you get to the penalty shootout. But you don't want, I don't want that. If I'm a manager, I think I'd rather lose 1-0 in extra time than lose in penalties.
Yeah, I mean, like some of these games, I was really looking forward to, like Germany and Argentina. I remember, like, oh my God, Messi against Germany, and the game wasn't very good. And 2010 too, Spain and Netherlands. Remember how great Netherlands looked in that tournament?
Yeah, and they actually looked. They turned the page back a little bit in that 2014 World Cup. They were excellent. Mm-hmm. And most teams punditry thought they were going to be shit, and they were great.
Yeah. So, Yeah, Portugal won Euro 2016. It happened, unfortunately. They got to fix this shit because this tournament right now, the way it's going, you can't do this again. You can't. This is bad. It's terrible soccer. It's funny because I wanted to do like what I had in mind, like before the tournament even started. I was like, all right, maybe like our last show, we could do like a top 10 games list. There weren't even 10 good. There weren't even 10 good games in this fucking tournament. That's how bad it was.
That's not good.
Yeah. So we even had trouble coming up with a top 5. So like the top 5 games.
Yeah. I think we just at this point as soccer pundits and fans here, we just kind of have to like put this one aside and hope that the next tournament is better. But saving grace is, since we're both Philadelphia fans and analysts, we have one thing that can save our bacon. And you know what his name is, don't you?
Who's that?
Ben Simmons.
Ah.
Not soccer related, but he probably plays soccer being from Australia.
Actually, there's a Instagram clip of him kicking a ball into the hoop from.
I saw that.
Yeah, and he did the rainbow, and he hit a corner 3. So Ben Simmons can literally do it all.
Yes, he can.
Yeah,
and he will.
Yeah, so that's going to be our show that we're going to do tonight. We're going to do I'm doing 2 shows with Kyle since we didn't do a show last week. So we're going to talk about free agency so far with the Sixers and Ben Simmons recap from the Summer League games so far. So stay tuned for that.
What time will that be airing?
Probably around 8, something like that.
I'm going to watch it.
All right, cool. Good shit. Yeah, so between like 8:30 we'll be live, and we're doing 2 shows. So
brilliant.
All right. So with that being said, that's Brian Wright. I'm Adrian Fedque. Fuck Portugal. Fuck Cristiano Ronaldo, and fuck his 6-pack. It's got nothing on mine. Later.
Yeah.